Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I'm Jennifer Matz. I'm the Mayor's Director of Waterfront Development in the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, and I welcome you here today for an unprecedented jobs announcement between the Golden State Warriors, Webcor and Hunt, organized labor, and community advocates here in San Francisco. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Mayor, Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Good morning, everyone. This today is a pretty good announcement of another milestone that we've reached with the Golden State Warriors. But before I say that, I just wanted to continue thanking the people who are very interested in the future of this city, future of sports, future of the waterfront, and all the neighborhoods that we know are continuing to want to have a great positive economic future for the city and also create jobs at the same time. Supervisor David Chu is here today, and he and I have talked quite a few times about this project and what it means to the city. I also want to thank Supervisor John Avalos because he being a very strong advocate working with me and I with him on local hire, we've been able to set course and ordinance for city-funded projects that have been, I think, leading the nation in getting local people hired. At the same time, I also want to acknowledge Supervisor Jane Kim, who's the district this arena is being planned for and hopefully constructed on, that she's working with the community and getting all the input necessary to make sure all the concerns are heard, because we are about to make sure that every concern is heard and that we spend the quality time it takes for all the environmental aspects of this great project to be put forth. But I think and I also want to thank all the people around here, particularly contractors and laborers and people in the workforce and organized labor for being such strong partners in this effort. Thank you, Caesar, Supervisor. As you know, I've emphasized job creation in the city being so incredibly important for both the present and the future. And as our economy continues to show signs of improvement, I'm not going to forget where the jobs go to and what people want to have in terms of their hope in this city. And so, of course, working with laborers, working with our construction contractors, working with the Labor Council. Tim is here today as well, and Mike Terrio as well from the construction side of things. Working with everybody, we have I think, an unprecedented announcement to make today, which is an agreement by basically 100% locally financed project of probably going to be close to $500 million of private investment, signifying that they wish to, on their volition, to be working with the city to hire 25% of their construction workforce with San Francisco residents. This is a wonderful, wonderful day. And that as part of that percent goal, they are opening up themselves to working with us in an enforceable obligation on this level. Rick Welch is here representing the Golden State Warriors, and at the same time, within this goal too, we're going to also accommodate returning veterans from our wars and military to be part of this effort as well. And yes. And you know, for me, it really means putting the word and the title Warriors in the Golden State Warriors. They're really showing their warrioristic ability to really penetrate things that we've struggled for many years to accomplish in the city. And on a private development, it just shows me that the investors working with the Golden State Warriors have confidence in the city, just as our communities and people working, whether it's the laborers, the carpenters, or the construction workers, we have confidence that the Warriors will continue this effort in working with the city. We hope today that The fiscal feasibility of this project gets heard in very much detail. We have a very high expectation that because of the Warriors' investment here and our beginning of this process will signal a very strong support for this fantastic arena that will be built on the waterfront. And so I know Harvey Rose and the Board of Supervisors are hearing this through the Finance Committee today, but we also expect that they'll see the numbers, and the numbers are quite accurate and quite serious. It's a serious investment. I don't think you'll see any city across this country right now where there's such a private investment of such confidence in the city that will present this opportunity that's rare as it is. That is why we pursued the Warriors. We knew we had an entity there that would help us demonstrate the kinds of things that we talked about when we were pursuing them. Local hire, jobs for people, vendors that would be respective of our small businesses, a waterfront design that would be sensitive to both the views and the environment that we want to have, and a great, great addition to our economy in the city for years and years to come. So it is with great pride that we make this announcement, because many of the people in this room are looking for that opportunity from all walks of life, from every community in San Francisco. They see this as a citywide project, not just on the waterfront. It's everybody's future. Everybody has to be heard. And I know that even this weekend, there was a telephonic ability to talk to people online and on the telephone. There were over 4,000 people that engaged themselves in a conversation with the Warriors and their team about what this project meant. It's incredible. I also want to give a shout out to the Port. I know Monique is here, and the Port and its commission are working hard with our economic team, led by Jen Matz, in continuing this ongoing dialogue, and we will have more announcements to be made. Right now, this is just the beginning of this project, but it's a great beginning, because usually when people talk about jobs and who gets to work on the project, I know Supervisor Avalos and I have been through that. In our publicly funded projects, they usually wait till the very end to talk about whether or not they can do something. But with Josh Arce's help and people that have been advocates for local hire, we're doing this at the front end with the Warriors. We're doing this as part of their vision of why they came to San Francisco at our invitation and what they're going to do with us in lifting up the economy, making sure people get those jobs, and making sure that we do our part as well. So this 25% goal, you'll hear it, because you ask anybody in any other part of the country, whether it's New York, Chicago, or so forth, you'll find this to be one of those unique situations where private investors volunteeringly wanting to do this with organized labor, with our partners in the community-based organizations, to say we will hold ourselves accountable to this 25% goal and get the veterans in at the same time. This is an incredible milestone. I want to celebrate it, but it's just the beginning of a long process, but a process that I believe will end with the season beginning here in San Francisco in 2017. That's why we wear the T-shirts and the pins. This is where we're going. So I want to thank everybody that's here. Thank you. We're on our way, and it will take a while. It will take some time. We're about to, once we do the fiscal feasibility, which was never required by these projects in the past, once we get this hurdle, we then go into the California Environmental Quality Act process, where issues like transportation and congestion will be heard very thoroughly by every part of the impacted communities and all around the city. But I think the Warriors and all of us want to give everybody a vision of where we're going, because that's got to be kept in front of us. And we can't lose this opportunity where we have such a fantastic investment in our city. Confidence is growing in our city, and we will have our Warriors, our Golden State Warriors, here in 2017. Thank you, everybody, for being here today.
Well, you can't have a 25% local hire commitment and a 50% local hire apprenticeship commitment with a public and private partnership without a private partner. I'd like to introduce Rick Welts, the president of the Golden State Warriors.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Mayor. You know, there's a lot of very, very big decisions that have to be made in a project of this magnitude. Our ownership group would love it if the budget was only going to be $500 million. It's actually going to be far in excess of $500 million. But I would say probably the easiest decision we had to make in this process is the reason that we are here today. Throughout this process, as welcoming as everyone has been to bring the Warriors back to San Francisco, we've heard a few things loud and clear. One of them is that this has to be a good deal for San Francisco, as well as a great opportunity for the Warriors. Whether that means working closely with the community, especially the neighbors immediately in proximity of the Piers 3032 project, or whether it's creating acres and acres of new public open space, rehabilitating what are now piers that are really falling into San Francisco Bay, the message has been very clear. One thing we heard in particular from day one is the importance of San Franciscans participating in the jobs and the economic development that are going to be created by this project. We're thrilled to be part of this announcement today. We're thrilled to be part of history, a first of its kind agreement, ensuring that a minimum of 25% local hiring will take place on the project in the construction jobs that are so important to all of us gathered here. What's more, we're agreeing that 50% of the apprentice level work will go to local residents, and launching our Helmets to Hard Hats program that the mayor referenced to help returning veterans connect to the construction jobs that are going to be created at this site. We really are grateful for all of our friends, especially those in labor that are here, the building trade representatives, to our community advocates, to the public officials. A special thank you to Hunt and Webcor, represented here today. A landmark deal like this doesn't get done without the involvement of all these parties. Thanks for having us here. It's our privilege, and it's a great day. Thank you, Mayor.
So local hire would not be the law of the city if not for the Board of Supervisors. I want to acknowledge some members of the Board of Supervisors who are here today. Supervisor Eric Marr, the architect of our local hire law, John Avalos. And our board president, David Chu, who I'd like to invite to say a few words.
Good morning. On behalf of the board, I am very happy to be part of the celebration of this milestone, and just want to take a moment for all of us to look around this room. We talk about the diversity of San Francisco, but it's not every day that we come together in the way that we are this morning. I also want to start by thanking the Warriors management and your organization for playing ball with the city, for making sure that we are setting a standard for how we do privately funded projects. On behalf of the board, I want to thank you for that. And I also want to thank all of you who are here who have been warriors for this concept of making sure that local projects involve local employees. From our community partners, from Bright Line Defense and Chinese for Affirmative Action, that really brought to our attention several years ago what the issue entailed. I also, of course, want to thank a majority of our Board of Supervisors that supported local hiring in 2010, and our local champion for local hiring, Supervisor Avalos. Mr. Mayor, ever since you came in office, this has been at the top of your agenda of making sure that we are fully implementing local hire. I want to thank you and your department heads, from the port to OEWD, Jennifer Matz, to workforce development, to all the departments that are coming together for this. And of course, I want to thank the men and women who will actually be doing the work. You've been building not just the history of our city, but you all will be building a future gem for all of us to be proud of for generations to come. Now, we know we still have quite a bit of work to do. I'm looking over at Rick as we talk about it. In fact, just this afternoon, or in the next few hours, we're going to be having a hearing at the Board of Supervisors to hopefully move forward a next phase of this project. We still have issues around neighborhoods and traffic, around design and open access. But it's my hope that the spirit of collaboration with which we were able to move forward with what otherwise would have been thought of a very difficult thing to move forward on. I look forward, and I know my colleagues look forward to working with all of our city community to make sure that 2017 is the date for tip-off. Thanks so much.
And representing some of the men and women who will be working on the Warriors project, I have Mike Terrio from the Building Trades.
And I want to start by acknowledging a lot of the labor folks who are in the room. A number of our folks are away from town right now. There's a meeting in San Diego on jointly administered trust funds, something you guys don't need to know about, but a lot of them are down there. But in the room we do have, I think, Victor Parra, who's a vice president of the council with Laborers Local 67, Oscar De La Torre with the Northern California District Council of Laborers, Sean Smith, Adrian Simi, Gil Deanda with the Carpenters, Local 22, Danny Campbell with the sheet metal workers, Charlie Lavery with the operating engineers. Who am I missing? Oh, Ramon Hernandez right behind me. I should have looked straight back. With Laborers Local 261. And additionally, Mike McKenna with the Electricians Local 6. And from outside of the construction trades, although Tim is a tile setter by trade, Tim Paulson with the Labor Council, and Mike Casey, who's president of the Labor Council in the back of the room over there. This is a project that of the kind that makes building trades workers salivate. It is a startlingly beautiful design from what we've seen so far. I'm going to embarrass myself with my attempt at Norwegian here, by Snøta. It's the kind of project where we can look forward to bringing our skills to work on a project that will fully demand those skills. That quite apart from the hours it will bring to us, quite apart from the food it will put on the table and the house payments it will make and so on, that's one of the reasons that this project really excites us. And it's a dramatic project. However, we are happy to try to minimize the drama of actually building the project, and that is what this particular agreement does. A lot of swords have been ground into plowshares for this particular agreement, and I think it's a real accomplishment, something that will provide us a practical and effective means of addressing local hire and getting San Franciscans to work. So, thank you.
So our final speaker is really the foremost community leader in the local hire movement, and that's Environment Commissioner Josh Arce.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. Thank you, Warriors. Thank you, WebCore Hunt, that are going to build this, Jesse Blout. And I just want to ask our community partners just to come up. I see us around here. We work together in coalition, and when we have an opportunity like this, we talk to our partners, the Philip Randolph Institute. Charity Cultural Services Center, I saw David. Mother Espanola Jackson, the godmother of Bayview Hunters Point. We talked to Mission Hiring Hall, Don Marcos, Sustainable Futures, and Build Bayview. I see Florence Kong. And what this was about and why this is historic is that when we on the community, we work with workers, communities, folks that are trying to get onto these projects. As the mayor stated, and as I think Supervisor Avalos agrees, often local hire is the last thing you talk about. And it's typically around good faith or new faith or whose faith, and it doesn't work. This is mandatory. The Warriors, our partners in labor, the contractors have committed to work with us to make local hiring mandatory. 50% local apprentices will build this arena. At least 25% overall local workers. We're coming together to craft this as an agreement. This is historic. It hasn't happened on a project like this. So what you're going to see, and what I think we're all excited about, is that we're going to see a new generation of local residents come into the trades, guaranteed through this agreement and this commitment, and begin their construction career building this arena and bringing basketball back to San Francisco. Thank you.
So I'd like to invite our speakers as well as many others to sign the agreement that codifies this commitment between the Warriors and labor and the community and the city. So I'm going to ask the mayor, Rick Welts, Mike Terrio, Josh Arce to come up and sign the agreement. The other signatories will sign over time, so you're not kept here while 25 people sign this document. And then we're all going to be available for comments and follow-up, but we're not going to take questions from the podium, so we'll come back and talk to you. So thanks very much. Mr. Mayor? Okay. Rick, Josh?